beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. In this video, we are going to leave it up to the universe of what we're going to talk about. I have no idea, as this happens with all of my readings and my page pulls. We're just going to see what message that you need to hear today. And then I will create the title of the video at the end. So I'm feeling called to use my Grace for the Moment book by Max Lucado. I also used this book when I was going through a really, really dark night of the soul. And I was wanting, so like when you're in the dark night of the soul, first message is you feel disconnected from your guides and your angels. You might still be seeing signs and angel numbers and all that jazz, but you're either sick of it because you feel like you see everything and nothing arrives, or you feel nothing when you see the signs and you're just like, why do I feel so blah? I feel disconnected. And a lot of times you might not even know that you're disconnected until you come out on the other side and you feel that surge for life again, and you feel like you want to manifest again, and then you're seeing signs and feeling lit up, and you're like, wait, where did I go for like the last 2 months? I feel like I just was not myself. And this is part of the transformation process. You go through this void, this dark night of the soul where you're super, super depressed. You might be feeling anxious. You might be feeling like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my bills? My resources are running out. My relationship is ending. I need to change my job and I don't know if I can take this leap. And you just feel like your entire life is imploding and you're like, I don't know what to do. That's when you go to this. That's when you go to resources to look for guidance from your angels and your guides. You're looking to build that connection in the unknown. When you don't know what's happening, we have to sit with it and say, okay, this is here. I'm safe no matter what. I'm not going to let this dark night control me. I know that I'm meant to be here. This is part of the process. I go into a dark night, I come out. I go into a dark night, I come out. So when you're in it, let's just find some resources and some comfort from spirit to let us know that we're meant to be in it. So my aunt got me this book and she even wrote to Michelle, Merry Christmas 2002, love Aunt Julie. So shout out to Aunt Jewel. I love you to the moon and back. She watches my videos. It's my mom's sister. She's the most loving aunt. She got a tattoo for Micah on her chest, just like I have on my chest. She has a pretty angel on hers though, with angel wings, a heart with angel wings. So she's an OG. All right, Aunt Jewel, let's pick some messages together for my tribe. Left side. Okay, God calls your name. Here we go. This is what the Lord God says. I myself will search for my sheep and take care of them. Ezekiel 34:11. It says, He's waiting for you. God is standing on the porch of heaven, expectantly hoping, searching the horizon for a glimpse of his child. You're the one God is seeking. God is the waiting father, the caring shepherd in his search of his lamb. His legs are scratched, his feet are sore, and his eyes are burning. It's the dark night, you guys. He scales the cliffs and traverses the fields. He explores the caves. He cups his hands to his mouth and calls into the canyon. And the name he calls is yours. The message is simple. God gave up his son in order to rescue all his sons and daughters, to bring his children home. He's listening for your answer. So it's saying, and it says, and the angels were silent. So this is saying, like, are you hearing the call? He's calling you to go somewhere. Source, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, they are calling you to go to a different job. They're calling you to start the new project. They're calling you to leave that relationship, and you feel it in your heart and you know that it's the right thing to do. And that's why you've been put into the dark night, because you need to be still. You need to let go of everything around you and tune into the call. Okay, it is not easy. And that's why we need guidance. And that's why we need mentors and coaches, because the spiritual path has these valley moments where you just feel like you're never going to get out. And you're like, help, help, help. I'm not going to have enough money, or I have to leave this, or I feel so trapped in this cycle of toxicity with somebody. And all of a sudden, God, the universe, your higher self pops you out of that little cocoon phase that you were just in for a couple months. And it's like clarity. It's like everything is brighter, everything is clear. And you're like, oh my gosh, why did I stay in that job for so long? And then you appreciate the people that were helping you leave the job. And you're like, thank you for pushing me out. Thank you for giving me the strength to leave because I couldn't do it on my own. And a lot of times we need that push in relationships too. When you know that you need to leave a relationship, it is incredibly hard to choose yourself when you're going to hurt somebody else. But I always say you're not hurting the other person. You're kind of pushing them off their own cliff, and they have to find their wings and fly. And we're not responsible for everybody else's soul mission, are we? Nope, we're only responsible for ours. We're not even responsible for our children's. They have their own soul mission. We can't control what they do, what they say, where they go. We can try, but the best thing that we can do is to be a guide for them and to be stable ground for them to grow on, right? And it's not our job to control their every move. And we have to relinquish control, especially as parents. And me being a parent of a child who passed and being an aunt to 11 different nieces and nephews who I've been through, I've changed their diapers. I've helped them through motion sickness. I've helped them through the stomach bug. I've been with them on holidays overnight. So I've pretty much been immersed into their world. So I understand parenting. And I understand, not to the full extent that maybe, I shouldn't say that because I don't have kids of my own that are living, but I understand what it takes to nurture a child and to really see them where they are. And we cannot control them. We have to relinquish that grip. And even on other people, when we want to control other people, we have to stop and say, why am I trying to control this person? What in me feels unsafe? What in me is not trusting that God, the higher power, your higher self, their higher self, is protecting them as they navigate through life? So, first message, are you hearing the call? You can trust and take that leap of faith. Once you're out of it, once you're out of that dark night of wherever you were for years or months, it's going to make sense. And maybe the people that hurt you along the way, maybe they got you out of that situation. And now, or maybe they gave you so many lessons to learn during that process. And now you're out of it and you're like, wow, I thought they were the monster, but they were actually the gift. They were teaching me so much. And maybe I wouldn't have left if they didn't push me out or if they didn't break up with me. Okay, so I randomly just opened to this page. We're going to do Heart Thoughts by Louise Hay. And it says, I love myself totally in the now. Love is the biggest eraser there is. Love erases even the deepest imprinting because love goes deeper than anything. If your childhood imprinting was very strong and you keep saying it's all their fault, I can't change, you stay stuck. Do a lot of mirror work. Love yourself in the mirror from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Dressed and naked. Look into your eyes. Ooh, I said naked and kicked the table. Look into your eyes and love you and your child within. How wild is it that we were just talking about not blaming somebody for hurting you and not, and it says it's not their fault. It's all their fault. I can't change. So it's almost like you're blaming your parents for the way that you are. You can change you. And if you're blaming somebody else for hurting you, you have to look at them and their inner child, and it's not their fault either. So we don't place blame on ourselves, on our parents, on external, situations. We have to take ownership. And then the left side says, be gentle, kind, and comforting with your inner child as you uncover and release the old negative messages within you. Say, all my changes are comfortable, easy, and fun. So this is our inner child section, page 131. I don't know if that resonates for anybody, but I love myself totally in the now. You're not blaming anybody for hurting you. You chose it. You chose your soul path. You chose all of the characters in your movie. And I just recently came out of a 3-year struggle in my reality of like a toxic push and pull and feeling just so many different emotions. And it was so painful, but I'm out of it now and I can see the other side of it and I can see all the lessons I learned and I journaled about it. And I just feel so free. I feel like, I don't have to deal with that anymore. I don't have to deal with the chaos of the toxic push and pull. So it literally feels like freedom for me. Okay, let's do a final message with Journey to the Heart. You guys, if you're OGs to my channel, you know that I use this book all the time. Okay, Spirit, what do we need to hear today? I also just heard go to today's date, so maybe I'll do 2 messages. Okay, We have May 20th. Value the fragrances of the universe. I stopped at the small gas station to fill the tank and get a cup of coffee en route through Northern California. In quote, it says, "Did you know that the largest manufacturer of aromatherapy products is right here in town?" asked the attendant. His remark reminded me of the power of our sense of smell to affect how we feel. We are surrounded by odors, but unless one is particularly noxious, we tend to ignore the effects of the scents we are inhaling, and we tend to underestimate the power of certain scents to help us heal. Nurture your sense of smell. Let it come alive. Use its power to help you heal. A bundle of white sage burning in a seashell on a table, the wisp of cedar smoke from the fireplace, a cone of incense filling the air, lavender oil in the bath, drops of eucalyptus sprinkled in the shower. Its penetrating aroma mingling with the steam, a vanilla candle on the nightstand next to your bed, the smell of a forest fresh with rain, ocean air salty and damp, the rich sawdust smell of redwood, comforting smells from childhood, bread baking in the oven, freshly baked chocolate cake on the counter, chicken frying in the pan, the smell of our favorite people, their hair, their clothes, their cologne. Value your sense of smell, the way it connects you to yourself, to memory, to emotion, to the universe and the world around you. Use your sense of smell to help you discover what's right for you. Surround yourself with the fragrances of the universe. Let them help you heal. So I think this was a message for me because I'm coming out of that healing after 3 years of feeling like I was in a toxic push and pull, always wondering, always feeling slated. And now it's like I'm free. And now it's almost like, okay, it's time to heal. It's time to not feel like I have to do anything or be anywhere or be anyone or be anything different than who I am. I can just be myself. My sniffer is so good. I can smell anything, and I love like really using healthy, good things to smell in the house. I'm trying not to use candles too much, just because they can be toxic depending on what they're made of. So using essential oils, a diffuser is always super yummy for me, especially in the bathroom. When I'm taking my Epsom salt lavender bath, I have eucalyptus above my shower. So this is all a message to all of you. Tap into your senses when you're healing. Tap into making, oh, I just got a good message. Tap into making your experience here so delicious, so yummy, so passionate. Make it feel like this is your last day on earth and you want to appreciate every sip, every bite, every hug, every laugh, every scent. You just want to, every touch, you just want to feel the full experience of being alive. And when you're in that energy, you can manifest anything. And I have my manifest shirt on today. I was curious to see what messages were going to come through. But when we are, the other message we got, when we are following God's call, which I believe God is in us, it's our higher self, it's the universe all connected. So when all of them are calling us to a certain person, they're calling us to a certain environment away from something that's toxic. Maybe you're being pushed to push something out of your life. You're following that call, you're doing the right thing. And once you do it, it's time to celebrate. Now we sit back and we heal and we make our experience so wonderful, because for so long we suffered. For so long, we were somewhere where it just didn't feel right, but we didn't quite know it didn't feel right until we got out of it. And then you're like, oh, that was so toxic and that was so bad for me. Oh my gosh, thank God I'm where I'm at. And you had to be in it to learn the lesson. And I just stuttered. And my guides sometimes make me do that to bring attention to the message. They'll either make me burp or stutter with my words, but you're meant to be there. Like there's no, like it was a stutter because you were supposed to be there that long. It was supposed to be repeated because you weren't learning the lesson. And when you finally learn the lesson and you stood in your power and you know your worth now, now you can move on. And now you can be on the other side of it, healing, embracing this experience, because for so long you couldn't feel anything. Maybe you were so stuck in survival mode that it felt daunting to do. Okay. All right, let's go to today's date. Today is June 3rd. Let's see what June 3rd says. Oh, June 4th, I have it like writing all over. It says, let joy find you. I put, she found me, my guardian angel. Okay, June 3rd. Transcend your judgments. Not judging people is really a practical issue, a friend explained. Everybody does something they could be judged for. If we start judging, we'll spend all of our time doing that. My friend was right, but not judging is more than a practical matter. It is a spiritual issue as well. I used to spend a lot of time judging other people. I used to think the world was divided into right and wrong. I thought judging others would help me stay clear on the difference. I thought judging was my job. Now I've learned something new about judgments and about myself. Judging others is what I do when I feel afraid, insecure, and limited. Judging others is something I do when I'm afraid to love, when I can't accept love, because I can't accept myself. And most important, I've learned that judging others is not my job. When I judge others, I judge myself. Yes, there are issues we need to work on. Many of us have quirks we may live with most or all of our lives, but judging doesn't help. Judgment limits us. Judgments condemn. They say, my past is not as it should be. I'm wrong. My life is wrong. Judgments put us in prison no matter where we are. Judgments come from the head. Freedom and love come from the heart. Transcending judgments will set you free. Learn to look at yourself in love. Who you are, where you've been. Learn to look at others with love too. When we accept others with freedom and love, we accept ourselves. And it says, judgments put up barriers. Transcend your judgments and you'll be free. Freaking men. And I heard during that, while I was reading that, was when we judge others, like it said, when you judge what you wish for others, you wish for yourself. So when you're judging somebody, you're just not accepting something about yourself. You haven't quite gotten to the point of owning every part of you yet, and owning your reality, and whatever you're seeing and critiquing is something that you've attracted because you're a match to it. And we have to look at it and be like, ah, shit. I'm totally judging that person, but they're just maybe further back on the journey, or I still have that in me and I'm still doing it and not fully seeing it. Thank you, person in front of me, for showing me my judgment and showing me that I still have a part of you in me. And now I have to go transcend me and transcend that in me. I also heard the other day that, if you're looking at somebody who's very salesy and they're trying to sell you things and you don't like it, normally that's because you struggle with saying no. If you're not, why can't you just let that person do what they're doing? Like, it's okay. They can sell, they can do what they're trying to do on their journey. If they're not quite where they want to be, or maybe they're not making enough money, I don't know. Maybe you're seeing a version of them that feels like desperate or something, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just great at selling and you may be jealous of it. I don't know, but you have to look at your thoughts and what you're thinking of somebody who's selling. Why is it ick to you? Why does it feel icky? And you have to say, wow, is it because I struggle to say no to somebody like that and they persist and they're very pestering? You have to learn to say no. So that is showing you where you need some work. When you're comfortable with saying no, you're not bothered by that person anymore, because you're just like, oh, they're just doing what they're doing and it doesn't affect you. And if you can walk through life feeling that non-judgment everywhere you go, and you just see all people doing the best that they can with what they have, that is the beauty. That is you internally finally reaching that mark where you're like, I made it. It takes consistent daily work to stay there, but you're like, I'm not going to judge other people, no matter what they've done or what they're doing, no matter how bad it is. You can understand why they're doing it. And it doesn't mean you let it continue. You set a boundary, you hold a firm boundary, you speak your truth, and then you send them on their way, because they have to learn it in their own time. But if it's affecting your peace, you need to speak up and say something about it. You cannot just let poor treatment happen. There's a fine line between judging somebody who's just doing something, for their own good. But when other people are involved, if they're hurting other people, if they're hurting you, you need to speak up. We can't just watch these things happen. But if it doesn't affect you or anybody else and nobody's getting hurt, then obviously we just have to sit back and accept. Sorry, I just heard a noise outside. I was like, what was that? It's a sawzall. So we just have to sit back and accept, like, okay, we're not going to place judgment on this bad thing that they're doing. They have to learn it in their own time. So no judgment. If we are judging, that means there's something in us that is unhealed, and we've attracted that type of thought pattern because there's something in us that we need to see, and the universe brought it to us. So I hope you actually, my guides just said, pull a quick animal card. So we're going to pull a quick little spirit animal oracle, my little green deck. Bottom of the deck, we have the panther, reclaim your power. Heck yes, this is you speaking your truth. So we're going to use that. Final message. Okay, we have the koi, which I believe this is, there's always enough. It's an abundance card. So if you're struggling with money, if you're struggling with feeling like you're never going to find a partner, you're never going to find the perfect house. I did a session the other day with a woman who she needed an emergency 30-minute session because she had just signed a contract to buy a house in a local town near me. And that night before, when she was going to bed that night before our session, she woke up and she was like, oh, I don't want to buy the house anymore. I don't want to buy the house anymore. So she booked a session with me, and we uncovered that the house wasn't right for her. She had walked into the house and she didn't have that, babe, this is it. This feels like home. She was forcing it to be it. She was making excuses of why it's the right house for her. And she wasn't believing in this. This spirit animal is saying that there's always enough. If you dream of this perfect house that has a wonderful kitchen, it's out there. If you can dream it, it's out there. So she was about to settle, and her soul was not letting her rest, and she couldn't sleep because she was already locked into this new house that wasn't meant for her. And she was feeling so upset about upsetting the sellers. And I was like, no, I was like, there's going to be other offers. You're actually allowing somebody who really wants that house, who's maybe like the universe is saying, hey, that other family is really going to want that house. Imagine them getting the phone call like, hey, those buyers that you thought took your dream house, they just bailed. Now the house is yours. Like, that's such good news for those other people to get. So I was helping her shift her thinking into not feeling bad about pulling out of the contract. And it wasn't too late. She could pull out of it. But that's how cool this message is. It's saying, like, own your power, do what feels right. If you're waking up in the middle of the night and you feel like you shouldn't do something, don't do it. There's always enough. She was fearing that that was the only house. And I told her, absolutely not. If you can imagine something that you are wanting and it's just not here yet, you have to be patient. There's always enough. There's always another opportunity. There's always another job. If you're getting rejected, it's a redirection. If you're feeling like you need to reject somebody else, don't fear that there's not going to be somebody else lined up right behind them. Okay, there's always enough. We live in the most abundant universe. And if you're walking around saying everything always works out for me, then it will. And you'll be guided to wake up in the middle of the night to pull out of that contract because there is something better for you, and your spirit knows it, and you're learning to listen to the call. Back to that first message from my Grace from the Moment book, you are listening to that inner, like, I got to do this. I got to text this person. I have to reach out. I love them, or I love this house, or I don't love this house. Start listening and start taking action. We are living in a time where we cannot be where we're not meant to be. Okay. Once you're out of the situation, it's all going to be clear and happy. And you're going to be like, thank God I did that. Thank God I followed the call. Thank you, God, for leading me and showing me the way. And a lot of times the way being shown is through people like me. You're watching a video and you get the guidance and you're like, yes, that was just what I needed to hear when I needed to hear it. And that's why I'm super passionate about doing page pulls, because this could make you make a decision that you wouldn't have made this morning. It shifts your vibration, it shifts your perspective. And when you look at life differently, life changes. So keep expanding your consciousness to see things as, there's plenty, there's so much more that you can have for yourself, and you're limiting yourself. And God's saying, don't limit yourself, my child. You can have it all. Do not settle. You can manifest it all with God, with source, with the universe. And when I say God, I'm not thinking about a man in the sky. You guys can have your own belief system. I have my own belief system. I think God is our imagination. It's source energy that is moving through us. It lives in us. And we just have to get the ego out of the way to let source move us to what's best for us. So when we're feeling that anxiety, that source like shaking our body saying, hey, I need you to do something right now, or I need you to wake up and go check your bank account, or I need you to go call this person. And we have to honor the thing that we're avoiding doing. And if you're not sleeping, it's probably because you're avoiding something. So just wake up and just freaking do it. Okay. Your life will be so much better. Pull out of the contract, make the call, tell the person that you love them, start the thing, start the project. Just do one small thing today to shift into that call, to really shift towards that higher calling that you're feeling. Okay. Like, comment, subscribe. I am opening up my group coaching program. It's called Transforming. If you want to work with me to just become a better human being and learn how to navigate the spiritual path and slow down a little bit more, appreciate your family, appreciate your relationships, be a better wife or sister or child or whatever it is that you are, struggling with, I can help you with that. My coaching program, it's like a life coaching program. It's not just about manifesting. It's not just about healing. It is everything all in one. And we'll do 3 personal sessions, just you and I. And then we'll do 3 group calls with the whole group, which will be like 8 or 10 people. And then we'll go and hermit again and do our individual calls. So every other week we do single call, group call, single call, group call for the whole 6 weeks. And you'll also get video modules where I'm going to give you guys my 20-step process on how I reached, where I am emotionally, physically, spiritually, everything, my workouts, how to manifest, how to heal partnerships, how to handle your children with patience and compassion. So this program is everything all in one. It is so magical. The link below to sign up, the link to sign up is below. And you can also work with me in just my one-on-one mentorship that is also available for 8 weeks. You do one-on-one sessions with just me, nobody else. And then I do intuitive readings and I do manifesting coaching sessions. So it's all on my website. I love you all. Thank you for supporting me and my channel, and I will see you in the next one. All right, peace out.